Weatherman. I hope you guys are having a good start to the weekend. Well, as I'm getting on, things are just starting to really pick up here. There has just been a severe thunderstorm watch issued to the south for areas like areas around Little Rock and to the east in Arkansas, and we have a secondary severe thunderstorm watch that includes eastern Texas and northwest Louisiana. To the north of that, we have a tornado watch that's just been issued for the southwest corner of Missouri and pretty much goes through all of central Illinois into far southern Wisconsin here. From the looks of it, there's a tornado warning in southern Wisconsin, and there is a severe thunderstorm warning in northeastern Illinois here. You have what's still considered to be a slight risk for severe weather, but it looked kind of sus. I had a feeling that they would have probably bumped this up to enhanced risk, but turns out they didn't see fit to do so. Not like it matters. Take a slight risk just as seriously as you would any higher risk as well, but hey. Anyway, we also have a lot more to talk about going into the long range as well, because we have an enhanced risk now on Sunday and Monday, and then we have a day 5 and day 6 slight risk already, and the rest of these days are predictability too low. So there is a chance that I can hunch on these days, at least one of these next 3 days, that has no area having a slight risk issued or producing a marginal risk within the 72-hour period. So without further ado, let's get into it. We'll start out taking a look at the radar for tonight. We'll set it up to where we can just get an up close view of all the storms that'll be in the Midwest. So we got our 48-hour NIM. I got the timing right this time. I think towards the earlier end of this, towards the earlier end of the afternoon, I think the tornado threat will be a little bit higher, and then I think things will transition to a straight line damaging wind threat. Kind of already went over the details of tomorrow. Kind of went over the details of what would be today's threat yesterday, but we'll just kind of run through the radar real quick for today and into Sunday as well. And as you can see, it's a very convective type of system, embedded supercells. I think anything that forms out ahead of that line will have to be watched a little bit more closely. Low-level jet isn't quite as strong as yesterday, and speaking of yesterday, did you see the tornado that went through Andover? Oh my goodness. That still could be possible today, but it's not nearly, but the conditions aren't nearly as favorable as they were yesterday. I was really concerned about that. But you can even still see here, there's a line of storms, but you can see these little kidney beans. These have a supercellular type shape. Whenever you see that kidney bean with that these little dangly bits sticking out, that's a sign that the storm has got plenty of inflow. These storms are very healthy and will have the ability to rotate. So this will go into the late evening hours and into the overnight, and then the threat starts to diminish. We tend to lean more towards a damaging wind threat. Still might be something nasty around Indiana come the early morning hours into Sunday, but chance is pretty slim at that point. So we'll just move this along, and by that point the storm system moves out, and then this area will be cleared up. We'll have cleared up. Come on computer, don't do this with me. And then we will shift down south towards Texas to take a look at our severe weather threat for Sunday. So this is about early mid-afternoon on Sunday, and we're going to be watching towards the panhandle of Texas here. We'll look at the parameters for this in a moment, but once we get into the late evening hours, we have this line of storms that pops up here and a couple of line segments. I'm on the lookout for some embedded supercells in there as well, some of which are capable of producing tornadoes. There is going to be a low-level jet around this area, so this will have to be watched very closely. Then come Monday into Monday morning, we have an MCS that rolls through, and then there will be another severe weather threat that we'll talk about then. So let's go back to the Storm Prediction Center page. We will take a look at today's slight risk a little bit more closely. No big surprises there. 5% chance of tornadoes. Areas stretched out a little bit further south. Little Rock, you're now in play for it, whereas yesterday you weren't. But that's pretty much the same, and the wind and hail threat is exactly the same as yesterday. Now we take a look at Sunday, and we have our enhanced risk now. Includes Fort Stockton, Midland, Lubbock, and Amarillo, and then you have a small little sliver of New Mexico involved in there. I'm also concerned about this area being hit by some pyrocumulus clouds, which are basically dry thunderstorms that have a lot of lightning. So that may not help the fire issues that we have going on around there. But all the hazards are possible in this yet again. Like I said, mainly watching the panhandle for the threat of tornadoes. Wind threat, everybody's in play for it. We even have this little cheeky marginal risk here around the Ohio Valley for that storm system that's going to be exiting come tomorrow. You might catch a little bit of something in North Carolina, areas like Raleigh, Charlotte. You're just outside of it, but that could easily change. Roanoke, Virginia, Charleston, you're outside of this. And then Eastern Kentucky, most of West Virginia, even Pittsburgh could get a isolated severe storm. Columbus, you're just outside of it. Cleveland as well. Don't rule it out. And that's pretty much all I can see there. Look at the hail threat. Same thing with that marginal risk area. A little bit smaller. Same areas implied there. But we're also going to be looking for what could be, and I was watching Ryan Hall's live stream last night. He said DVD sized hail. So this area right here is where that's most likely to occur, this hatched risk. So we have a 30% region here. This is where our enhanced risk has been set up. It's mainly for hail, actually. So, of course, includes the same areas: Lubbock, Amarillo, Midland, and Fort Stockton. No surprises there. Let's go to day 3. And the enhanced risk moves a little bit further to the east. Now we're including Oklahoma City and Norman again. And we're including Wichita, which is actually the same area that got hit last night with a very violent tornado that went through Andover. So these same areas will be in line for more severe weather yet again. And then we have a marginal risk that stretches all the way over into the southeast, including Jackson and Memphis, Tennessee, and the northernmost parts of Mississippi. Then Springfield, you're in a slight risk. Jefferson and Kansas City, you're in a marginal. And then the slight risk extends all the way to Fort Sill, Wichita Falls, and Abilene, and maybe even the northern parts of Abilene. Woodward, you're just about outside of it in Oklahoma. But things definitely look like they're picking up. And then when we look on days 4 through 8, predictability too low. That's going to easily change, I feel like. Also, I wanted to mention day 3 looks like a potential tornado threat once again, so we'll have to watch that closely. Then day 5, we have a pretty big slight risk area already. This includes pretty much all of central Oklahoma, almost leading up to the Panhandle. Anywhere east of that, you have to be on the watch for severe weather. Then we have Wichita Falls again, Oklahoma City and Norman once again, Fort Sill, Tulsa, Woodward. We have Waco, Texas, Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, Abilene here and there again. So that's day 5, and then day 6, this moves to the east. Not too far, though, so it looks like we have another day. This could potentially be an extended day severe weather outbreak. And it's also including the same areas again, but maybe a little bit further to the east. The only difference from day 5 is actually now we're including Little Rock and Shreveport, Mississippi. And on day 7 and 8, the predictability is too low. The predictability is too low, but it could easily change. So let's go to the euro actually, because I've been doing a little bit more digging around, and apparently I need to start using the euro more for longer range forecasts. I also have to time it well, because on the high resolution euro, the 06Z runs and the 06Z and 18Z runs only go to 90 hours, whereas the 12Zs and 00Z runs go to 240. So I'm gonna have to be Johnny on the spot with the timing, and my schedule doesn't always allow for that. I'll try to always get you guys the most up-to-date information that I can. So it's gonna be tricky, but we'll work through it. So we'll slow the loop speed here. We do have a little bit of a low-level jet here right now. This info is almost out of date now, actually, because by 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, this will start to update towards the 18Z. So when we get into the late evening hours, which is about where we are right now, honestly. We do have a low-level jet, about 50, 60 knots. It's a little bit further north than what you would want from where the storms are expected to be firing. The lion's share of them are going to be in Illinois more than they're going to be in northern Wisconsin. But we're still looking at an area where we're hitting about 30 to 40 knots, more than sufficient enough for tornadic activity. And then into the overnight, this kind of picks back up a little bit. And on the backside of this, there's going to be some strong winds as well. And I think this is why we have our tornado threat, because you can even see where our low pressure is based off the low-level jet. It's right around here. Notice how the winds are at like 6, 7, maybe 10 knots around some point, 17 at most. On the southeastern flank of that is always where you want to watch for high wind shear and potential tornadic development should storms fire there. So we move this along, and then on Sunday, look what we got here. We have a new low-level jet that starts to develop in the early afternoon hours. So we go here, we go on ahead here, and we do get up to that magical 35 to 40 knot mark once again. Kind of picks up, and then on Monday, this is a day that I'm watching real close already. We're still hitting that 40 plus mark, excuse me. And we're also getting a we're starting to really pick up on that low-level jet into the late evening and overnight hours on Monday into Tuesday. Then on Tuesday morning, we'll have to watch that real close. And then Wednesday, here we go again. Look at that. Another area where the low-level jet's going to pick up. Around this point, though, the models don't always grasp this as well, so this could very well uptick. So we look at Wednesday, and look at that, going into Thursday morning. This is a danger. This looks pretty dangerous to me already, so we'll have to watch Wednesday night real close. And then going into Thursday morning, and even Thursday morning, this looks like it hangs around. If this holds, that could be a very big problem. So Friday, we have a low-level jet that's picking up once again. This time around the southeast, so we'll have to watch that. I think this kind of has the straight line damaging wind look to it. Then this thing keeps on going back on me. It's like fighting. It's like I'm wrestling with my computer, or my mouse, I should say. So on Saturday, things are a little bit harder to read, but it looks like there's going to be a new threat that pops up around the plains once again. It's a great time if you're a storm chaser. Anyone else, though, you're kind of like, I'm tired of this already. And it looks like this pattern isn't really slowing down anytime soon. And look at this on Monday into Monday morning. And look at that, into the overnight hours, jet stream picks up once again. Could be some very dangerous straight line winds. You don't even need to have a tornado for this to be dangerous. The parameters that we have set up here just kind of tell you that all modes are possible, and they could all do devastating damage to either life or property. So let's look at the dew points here real quick. I mean, basically, we aren't going to really have to look at the temperature map here because, I mean, it's May. Around a lot of these areas, it's already going to be 70, 80 degrees. I mean, there's really no point in me showing you that. That's almost like beating a dead horse in this case. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a close look at where these dew points are hitting about 55 and up. That's when you really get into that prime severe weather type of setup. So we move this along. And this is where we get our severe weather threat. Look at that. And it's just like literally multiple days. You get a dry line and push this back down, and then you have another surge from the Gulf. It's just like this tug of war that seems to be going on around the Central Plains, and then this even starts to go into Georgia. So late into the week, next week, I'm gonna be watching this real closely. And then on if I pause this here and then go right towards the end of this run, I'm kind of alarmed about this. That's gonna be the Monday after this one, around the 9th. I'm gonna be watching this Monday real close because you don't normally see dew points that high this far out. That could become a very big problem. So potential severe weather outbreak maybe 2 weeks from now could be in play. So let's take a look at the Cape for this. I'm expecting some off the charts numbers, really, to be honest, at this point. I think I saw a model run a while back where there was about 7,000 joules per kilogram, which is absolutely bonkers. I've never heard of anything like that. Well, actually, I have, but but you rarely see numbers above 5,000. So, I mean, you can even see still that we're getting up to the. Whoa, hold up! And there it is. Look at that! Look at that! Going into Sunday night next week on the 8th, we are sitting at 4,300 plus joules per kilogram. Probably is an area around here where it is at 5,000. That's insane. That is absolutely ridiculous. And the thing is, I don't think this is actually a bullish run. It's reasonable. I mean, when you get... Wow, just look at that. That's crazy. That is pure insanity right there. Look at that. Towards the Texas-Mexico border, we're getting around... There's a spot in there where there's 6,000 joules per kilogram. We're literally just in this pattern where pretty much the entire Central Plains, Southern Plains especially, are a hotbed for severe weather. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I haven't been doing this long on YouTube, but I've been studying weather since the age of 4. I've seen forecast models like this, and this doesn't happen often. You might see this once every few years, honestly, when you have Cape this high. When you have Cape this high, it's about 5,000 plus. Last time I really remember seeing something like that might have been in, 2015 maybe? I don't know. But I've been doing this a minute, and this is kind of alarming. So let's take a look at the instantaneous flash right here. This is our lightning flash density. Take a close look at this. And we'll get to see just where these storms are going to be most likely to form later into the week. We already know the deal with the next 48 hours. So we don't have to really look too far. In fact, there you go. You even see it. It's going to be a lot of storms that day around central Oklahoma and into Texas. This will only uptick in nature. So we move this along. And we even get some activity towards the southeast here, but Tuesday morning looks really nasty. And then just look at how the coverage just continues to increase, and the intensity increases too. Look at Thursday. That's insane. We're probably hitting some spots where we could be hitting. Look at that. There we go. 14 flashes a day. I was thinking it was going to hit about 10 at least. So we're probably going to have a spot that hits 20 towards the end of this model run based off what I was seeing there. So here we are again, over 10 flashes a day. Another little key tip, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you probably have figured this out, is that the more flashes of lightning that you see in a storm, more often than not, that means the storm is intensifying. So, I mean, that's probably a no bull Sherlock kind of thing, but hey, thought I'd just make mention of it because there's probably somebody out there that still doesn't know that. But this is Friday in the next week, and our severe weather threat pushes to the south and east. So we'll have to keep a close eye, especially around Mississippi and Alabama. Saturday it clears out from the southeast, and it picks right back up once again in the Gulf. Then look at that, Monday. Here we go again, getting towards that magical 10 mark. And then on Monday, Monday morning, we'll be watching Nebraska once again. And then move further forward. And then just Tuesday, everything just goes crazy. I mean, we might have 2 potential slight risk areas develop, one here and then one here. The Dakotas are already going to be in play. Normally you don't see, like I said, you don't see the Dakotas and Minnesota coming to play until about June. So this is way earlier than average and pretty intense at that. So, and on Tuesday morning, this pushes its way a little bit further south. Poor old Nebraska and Kansas, you can't seem to get away from it. We'll go one more run, and then again, here we are. Here we are with Nebraska getting caught in the middle of this once more, and then Panhandle of Texas once more. Wow, look at that number right there. We're nearly maxing out already. This is towards the end of the model run. I'm hoping that this doesn't hold, because the max for this is 30 strikes, 30 flashes a day per kilometer, and we're sitting at 26. There might even be a 30 in there. So there's a lot going on. There's going to be a lot to talk about. I'm not going anywhere on this channel, and I'll be happy to cover it all. But this is all I got for you guys tonight. This has been Ty, your Metalhead Weatherman. If you are in any of these areas, especially if you're east of the Central Plains, keep an eye on the weather over the next couple weeks, because things are looking like they could get nasty. So just don't be scared, be prepared, and stay weather aware. But again, this is Ty, Metalhead Weatherman. I will have a video for you guys tomorrow. Till then, goodbye.